Hello, and welcome to this segment of Arts Talk. I'm Sherri Burr, and my co-host for this segment is Matt Durkovich. Welcome, Matt.
Welcome.
And we're very pleased to have as our special guest for this segment Jane Lindskold, who's the author of Wolf's Blood and many other fantasy novels. So welcome, Jane.
Thanks, Sherri.
And we're going to let Matt conduct the interview.
Jane, thank you for sharing some of your time with us today.
Oh, my great pleasure. Saved me from sitting at home doing my taxes.
You've written a series of books throughout your career, and originally you began writing single novels, but more so later in your career you've picked up series and novelettes is what you seem to do more of. What do you enjoy about the different aspects of short stories and novelettes?
Short stories and novelettes give you a chance to take a compact idea, pursue it, and finish it off. Whereas with a novel, you're always dealing with an extensive project. A long novelette is going to run maybe 100 pages in manuscript, where that book ran something close to 1,200 pages in manuscript. So there's a tremendous amount of satisfaction in a project that I can finish in a week or two, as opposed to one that'll take about 9 months of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, with Wolf's Blood, that's part of a larger series,
Yes.
The Firekeeper series. You will also be coming out with the Breaking the Wall series
Right.
coming up here in late fall, and I think you've also done the Anthenor series.
Right.
When you're writing those, do you worry about your fans' concerns of providing them closure and ending a story and not having loose ends? And how do you decide what to write, when to write?
That's a good question. The Firekeeper saga is the longest I've done. This is the 6th book, and it's where I'm closing the series for now. One of the odd things about email is how fast you get reader response on a book. A book can be barely released, and you're starting to get feedback already. But I was lucky with the Firekeeper saga in that actually the first 3 books were written before the first one came out, or the first 2 were written and the third I was writing, so that I got to come up with my concepts for the series, for what I wanted to do with where I wanted the characters to go, without any feedback from the readers. About the time I was writing the 3rd book in the series, Dragon of Despair, I started getting email from people telling me what I was going to do. Not asking, telling. And that was incredibly intimidating, and I got really kind of wobbly-kneed. Because here I am, I know what I'm doing, I love what I'm doing, and I'm getting people telling me, well, I can't wait until I know you're going to. And I'm sort of like, well, what are you going to do when I don't? And oddly enough, the thing that saved me was Tony Hillerman's memoir, Seldom Disappointed. I happened to take it out of the library on tape, and he focuses so much on that, on the joy of writing and the joy of being focused on what you want to do, that Tony took me by the hand without knowing it and put me back in telling the story I wanted and letting the audience come to me.
Did you have to disconnect yourself somewhat from those avenues of criticism and feedback?
I always answer my fan mail, but I never go to websites, I never go to chat rooms, I never surf the web, I never go to Amazon.com and read readers' reviews. If a reader cares enough to write me and ask a question, I like the feedback, I like working with them, but I don't go out and look for people to stroke me and tell me I'm wonderful, or conversely, beat me up.
What's the nastiest thing a reader ever wrote to you?
In the book before this, Wolf Captured, one of the main characters gets into a romance. And this reader apparently did not like it at all. And so she wasn't even finished with the book, and she wrote me saying, I hate hate Ranasita. Doesn't she realize Firekeeper's only chance for a good relationship is with Darien? I hate her. I hate her. It was a great thing to read with my morning coffee. It was so impassioned. So in a way, it wasn't bad because
You're
it showed.
evoking a response.
Right.
Yeah, I
right.
was evoking a response, but that was certainly the strongest response I've
Wow.
ever
So what
gotten.
did you write back?
Finish the book. Because actually Darien doesn't end up with that girl, but neither does he end up with Firekeeper. Firekeeper has very odd romantic tastes.
Ooh. Now we're really curious. Just how odd are those tastes?
Oh, she's in love with a wolf.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that's
she
pretty
was
odd.
raised as a wolf.
Okay.
And so she thinks she's a wolf. All of her social programming is to be a wolf. So she's in love with a wolf.
Ooh.
Speaking of Darien, he's a character who has a very large following amongst your fans.
Good to know.
And there seems to be clamoring for a storyline strictly focused on him. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought about that, or would you ever think about allowing other authors to pursue that?
I certainly wouldn't let other authors pursue it because this is my sandbox and people can go build their own sandbox. Maybe someday down the road it might be fun to do a novella or a separate short story about Darien all by himself. But on the whole, I don't have any immediate plans.
Right. You said it's your sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a little experience stepping into other people's sandboxes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you finished 2 novels for Roger Zelazny.
Right.
How did you find that experience of trying to pick up and or finish someone else's work?
Well, that was a very odd and unique experience. Roger was my lover. He was dying of cancer. When he realized he wasn't going to live to finish his books, he asked me if I'd finish them for him because he didn't outline, he didn't do anything. And so I was really the only person who had a shot because I was at least the person he talked to about the books and things like that. So from that point of view, it was a sandbox I had not wanted to invite myself into, but when asked, I did my best. And it was a great experience for me because he was a brilliant writer. But I don't really want to go there again.
Right.
What were some of the responses from readers?
Very strong, actually. On the whole, I've gotten just a tremendous amount of positive feedback on those books. And probably my favorite review was the one where the reviewer said, the only place you can see Lindskold's hand is in that the female characters are three-dimensional. Because Roger was very much a man of his generation. He was about 25 years older than I am. And really didn't write very good female characters.
And your male characters are three-dimensional?
I think so.
What do you think, Matt? You think
For
that's
the most
fair?
part.
Okay,
Yeah.
for the most part?
Yeah, there are some alpha males in there.
Uh-huh.
I like,
some,
well, it's
Does
a
she
book
have
about,
any
that's a
beta
book about
males?
a war.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, you're going to be
necessary
running
for your
with,
main characters to,
Right.
Yeah.
to be the leaders.
yeah,
Right.
obviously, in a book about a war, you're going to have a lot of alpha males and alpha females butting heads.
And no beta males or beta
Oh,
females?
Sure there are.
Oh,
Sure there are.
okay.
One of the most popular characters in the series is Sir Jared Sircliffe, who's also known as Doc. Very mellow, very strong. I'm married to a strong gentleman, so I like strong gentlemen.
Okay. Matt?
Throughout your work, you've gained more and more acclaim, and now you're starting. I actually just heard you say that you are actually still in talks with Marvel. I
Right.
understand that those were kind of on the rocks, but you're looking into graphic novel
Right.
development.
Marvel Comics, I was approached by a small comic book company called DB Pro to do graphic novel adaptations of the first 3 Firekeeper novels. And then Marvel was so interested in DB Pro that they consolidated with them. Then Marvel Comics and DB Pro had an argument and separated pretty amiably. But of the shared properties, Marvel was very interested in holding on to the Firekeeper materials. So actually on Friday I had a conference call with a couple art editors at Marvel, and we're now moving ahead with the project again. It's likely I'll script it. If I don't script it, I at least have right of both art and script approval. So they might as well let me script it, because if I don't like it, I'm going to say no.
So
Right.
you really retain full control of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it'll be my books. Firekeeper will not become a 6-foot tall buxom blonde in a bikini.
On that note, thank you very much, Jane.
Thanks, Sherri.
And thank you, Matt.
And Matt.
Yes. And thank you, the audience, for joining us.
Thank you, audience.
For this segment of Arts Talk with Matt Durkovich and Jane Lindskold, talking about the Firekeeper series and Wolf's Blood. Thank you.